very good sessions, technical sessions by the guest speakers from the Broadcast Engineering Society. So thank you all of you. Now the next session is on ethics in broadcasting. Why this session was included in this seminar program? Because the broadcasting and what are the advancements in broadcasting, what are the AI tools, how the AI is influencing on the broadcasting, and what are the facilities nowadays we are enjoying with the AI tools, AI algorithms in the domain of broadcasting. So these are all we are seeing. But at the same time, we need to follow the ethics also. So that's why, particularly in the domain of broadcasting, so we need to follow the ethics. So that's why this session was included, Ethics in Broadcasting, a guide to moral decision making. Presentation outline: Introduction to Ethics, Key Principles of Ethics, Introduction to Broadcasting, Impact on Society, Ethics in Broadcasting, what is its impact on the society, what are the ethical challenges that broadcasting people should maintain, they are facing, and unethical conduct in the broadcasting and its impact on society. If unethical acts are going on, what are the acts and what are the punishments are taken by our government, that is the legal acts and regulations, and what are the strategies in order to improve the ethical broadcasting, and finally the conclusion. So this is my outline of the presentation outline. Next slide. Okay. So just me move chesanu. Okay. So ethics is a branch of moral philosophy. It gives the principles or rules to all the human beings. With that ethics, every human being can differentiate what is right, what is wrong, what is good, what is not good. With that ethics, if an ethical person can influence the society, with that ethical person, the remaining younger generations can inspire with him. So that is the ethics, and these are the 6 major pillars. These are the 6 major pillars of ethics, or it is also called as the core ethical principles. Core ethical principles. So what are those? Respect for the human dignity. Respect for the human dignity, fairness, transparency, honesty, non-discrimination, and accountability. So these are called as the major key principles or core pillars of ethics, 6 pillars of ethics. So now let us discuss one by one. So what is this respect for human dignity? Because we are working in some place, some organization. So we need to give the respect to the other colleagues or elderly people or higher authorization people. So likewise higher authorities. So in that way we need to give the respect. The respect is the fundamental key principle of the ethics. And fairness. Next one is the fairness. So fairness means we need to maintain the impartiality. We should not show the partiality. So impartiality and equity, there is no discrimination between the genders, no racism, no casteism, no groupism. So likewise the fairness. Okay. And transparency. So transparency means, for example, if we take the organization, every organization is having certain policies or certain rules and regulations. So and their expectations. So that expectations, those rules and regulations and their policies, they need to disseminate to the lower, their subordinates properly. Similarly, suppose if we take the government, so government generally used to do the policies or issue the GOs on different schemes. So that schemes should be transparently disseminated to the beneficiaries. Then only the schemes will work sustainability. So that transparency means information should be transferred properly to all the sectors in any work organization or in any government like that. And honesty, we know, each and everyone we know, honesty is the best policy. So that honesty builds a character. The honesty, for example, we can believe, we can trust in a good manner the honest person. If the person is not having the honesty, we cannot believe him. We cannot put and trust on him. First time, 1 or 2 times we can trust, 1 or 2 times we can believe, but later that he may lose. Okay, so everybody should have the honesty and non-discrimination. Non-discrimination, as I already told you, so there is no groupism, there should not be a racism, casteism, all these. Non-discrimination especially between the gender, it is a male, it is a female, likewise. Accountability and responsibility. So accountability and responsibility are the two major principles for every human being. So what are the actions, suppose if you are doing, or what are the, in terms of, for example, if you are taking in terms of the broadcasting, so generally the journalists use it to write a news articles as per their ideas, as per the data collected from the local people. But with that, in that, some part may be the truth, some part may be the facts, but some part is misinformation. But for that misinformation, they have to show the accountability. They should feel the responsible. Okay, so whatever the function if you are doing, whatever the work you are doing, you should be whole and soul responsible and showing the accountability. You need to answerable. These are the major core pillars. So next. So key principles of ethics, just now we have discussed honesty, fairness, integrity, respect. Integrity, this is also one of the best thing. Integrity, that is the unity in every organization. If and only all the workers, if and only all the employees are having the integrity, then only the progress of the organization is achieved. Okay, so the adherence to the strong moral principles. Adherence, that is the commitment. We need to commit to the rules and regulations framed by the organization. The strong adherence, strong commitment, that is possible only with the help of the integrity. So adherence to the strong moral principles and the commitment to do right thing even when it's difficult. Even in the difficult situations also we have to do the only right things. Respect, already I told you. Next, ethics in the workplace. Ethics in the workplace, or this is also called as the work ethics or ethics in the work organization. So fair treatment, confidentiality. Fair treatment already we have discussed. Transparency already we have discussed. Now confidentiality and compliance. Confidentiality is very, very important because in some, for example, if you are taking in some research organizations, so those research organizations, that scientists, so they are doing some formulas, they are inventing some formulas like that. Okay, some defense organizations. So those principles, those formulas, it should not be leaked. It should not be transferred to the other opposition parties. When it is possible, when the workers or when the employees are strongly commitment and they are having strong integrity, then only they can maintain the confidentiality. Here the confidentiality in the sense, the data security. Are you getting my points? Okay, so protecting the sensitive information. protecting the sensitive information and maintaining the privacy, respecting the confidentiality. Compliance means adhering to all the applicable laws and regulations, ensuring ethical business practices. Okay, next. So ethical decision making. These are all the parts of the ethics. So ethical decision making, first of all, clearly define the issue and the values at the stake. So first of all, we have to define the issue clearly, then only we can move forward. Next, gather the information, collect the relevant facts and perspectives to inform your decision. Consider alternatives also. Explore different courses of action and their potential consequences. Consult with the others. Seek advice from the trusted individuals or ethical resources. Make the decision. This is the final step. So choose the option that again is best with your ethical principles and values. So in order to make a decision making, that too it should be ethical manner. So we need to follow all these steps. Because particularly in the broadcasting, with that broadcasting, the society may impact very much. It is relevant to the public. It is not relevant to the only individual person. It is relevant to the public. So, particularly who is going to broadcast or who is going to telecast the news, or any report, he has to maintain all these morals and values. Next. So importance of ethical leadership. So first and foremost is the trust. So ethical leaders build trust by acting with integrity and transparency. So in one particular organization, so definitely the head of the institution is there. He is the leader. So how that leadership should be unethical, and what is the importance of that leadership? He should maintain the trust. He has to get the trust of his co-employees. So that is, ethical leaders build the trust by acting with integrity and transparency. And motivation, they inspire. The ethical leaders is inspiring the others. They act ethically by set the strong morals as an example. Performance. Ethical conduct contributes to a positive work environment and improve the performance. So when we had a strong leader and that leader is equipped with the moral values, so then definitely he will create the positive work environment. And thereby when the work environment becomes more positive, definitely the performance is better. So improved performance. Reputation. When the performance is better, automatically the reputation will come. The reputation of any organization, reputation of any office, like that. So reputation. Ethical companies attract and retain the talented individuals and build a strong reputation. So these are the importance of the ethical leadership. So this is the ethics and how a leader should be, and in what way he has to take the decision, and what are the principles he has to equip. That is the ethics. Now broadcasting and its significance. So broadcasting refers to the process of transmitting either audio, video or data content to a large geographically dispersed audience via the electronic mass communication systems such as radio, television or internet. So broadcasting means a process of transmission, either the audio content, whether it is an audio content or data content or video content, whatever it may be, to a large geographically dispersed audience. It may be the countries, states, continents, whatever it may be. So nowadays we are getting the information, or we are getting the news all around the world also. Okay, so it is possible with the help of the broadcasting. And broadcasting plays a vital role in mass communication, shaping the public opinion, providing the entertainment, and sharing the critical information with a large audience. That means with the help of the broadcasting only, shaping the public opinion. What is meant by the shaping the public opinion? See, suppose if you are reading any newspaper, then you will get an idea. Yes, this party is doing like this party is doing like this. Then you can frame an opinion on your mind. Similarly, if you are seeing a news in the channels, and one particular channel will telecast some news, another particular channel will telecast another news. So with those news content, you can frame your ideas, or you can frame your opinions on that particular party or on that particular person, on that particular leader, likewise. So it plays a vital role in the mass communication, shaping the public opinion and providing the entertainment. Already we know that broadcasting is providing a huge amount of entertainment, and sharing the critical information. Sharing the critical information is nothing but, nowadays the broadcasting becomes very, very simple. It's a very, very simple, it becomes a very, very, very simple in the concept, immediately within the seconds, we can transfer the information. Suppose I need some A positive blood, likewise. Okay, so sharing, the information sharing becomes a very fast manner, isn't it? Okay, so that is the sharing the critical information with large audiences. Broadcasting has influence on society, shaping culture, communication, politics, economics, social behavior, all these. Shaping the culture. Shaping the culture means, previously in the olden days, because of these many advancements in the broadcasting, we know only our surrounding people culture, likewise. But nowadays we know how the North Indian people culture, how the other country people culture. So that is the complete culture communication is also possible in globally. So next slide. So the evolution of the broadcasting, how the evolution. So already previous sirs has discussed already 1G, 2G, 3G, 4G. So previously early radio broadcasting, after that television broadcasting, after that nowadays the broadcasting through internet. So completely the digital technology, shaping the public opinion, already we have discussed. Cultural exchange, cultural exchange, broadcasting facilities the cultural exchange, exposing audiences to the diverse perspective, traditions, social norms, broadcast content, and it can influence social norms and values, reflecting and shaping the societal trends also. Global community, with this global community facility, it's connecting the people and share their ideas and experiences. Next. This one, digital streaming, technological advancements in the broadcasting, digital streaming, satellite broadcasting and internet broadcasting. So digital streaming, streamlined streaming services allow the viewers to access the content on demand. Satellite broadcasting, so because of this facility, the signals can reach even the other, there is no geographical barriers. Whatever the distance we can transmit, the broadcasting is possible. Internet broadcasting, the internet has revolutionized broadcasting, enabling the live streaming on the demand basis. Live streaming already, the digital streaming or live streaming technologies nowadays already we are enjoying, like Netflix, all these things. Okay, Amazon, this one. Next slide. See, these are the various digital streaming or internet streaming. See, nowadays it is called as the new media. So what is meant by the new media? So new media includes all the forms of communication, including the digital world, electronic video games, internet, social media, and these are all the various platforms through which this digital streaming is going on. Okay, so new media contains websites, blogs, streaming, audio, video, chat rooms, email, online communities, social media, mobile apps, web advertising. So these are all, with all these, the broadcasting becomes so much fast. Okay, very quick broadcasting. Now, ethics in broadcasting. So till now we have seen what are the ethics and what is the broadcasting. So now, how the ethics should be followed in the broadcasting. This is the moral principles and accountability. See, media ethics are important. Media ethics are important for proper broadcasting and avoiding the misrepresentation of the information. Information should be properly conveyed to the public. Information should be properly conveyed to the public. Okay, so avoiding the misrepresentation of information to avoid the conflicts of interest, because once the misrepresentation is conveyed to the public opinion may change, or the public may get confusion. What is the originality, what is going on? Okay, so that's why the broadcasting should take initiation and to maintain the proper information dissemination. Core ethical principles, already we have discussed: fairness, truthfulness, responsibility, independence in the field of broadcasting. These are all the field of broadcasting. Ethics in broadcasting workplace: transparency, open communication and clear ethical guidelines for all the employees. Accountability, confidentiality. Here, for example, confidentiality is one of the ethic, but how it should be maintained in the broadcasting. Okay, suppose if there is any news, one critical, for example, one critical news, but that news is to be conveyed to the public, but those persons, they don't want to reveal their faces, they don't want to reveal their details. Only the information should be conveyed, but they don't want to reveal their faces. Okay. Then they have to maintain the confidentiality. Okay, next slide. Okay, next, importance of the accuracy and objectivity. Importance of the accuracy and objectivity. So, foundation of trust, avoiding the misinformation, that is accuracy, avoiding the misinformation. Accuracy ensures that the information presented is factually correct and avoids the spreading misinformation that can have harmful consequences. For example, just suppose if there is a news, in the next month the government is releasing so many jobs, just like a news, but it is not actually. Suppose by seeing that news, the youth or younger generation, they can build so many hopes, for example. That is actual misinformation. Just take it as an example. Okay, after that, later, after 1 or 2 months, again, if they send or if they print, there are no opportunities, then the public may be disappointed. So that is the consequences. Okay, so that is the misinformation that can have harmful consequences. Next. So social impact on ethical broadcasting. Once the broadcasting is in a proper way, it is in ethical way, so then definitely it builds the trust. It builds the trust from the society. So it building the trust, empowering the citizens by transmitting the correct information, it should empower the citizens. So the citizens of the country has to get a correct information. Promoting the social justice, there is no discrimination, there should not be a discrimination. Fighting the discrimination and injustice, fostering the dialogue and understanding, bridging divides and promoting the peace. Fostering the dialogue in the sense, nowadays in the broadcasting, so many news channels are used to conduct the debates, group discussions, and they are directly going to the public and they want to hear from the public decisions, what is their opinions. So likewise, that is the dialogue. So fostering the dialogue and understanding. So with that what happens? The empowering. They want to know what is the public opinion, what is the public pulse. Next. So importance of the truth, accuracy in the news reporting. It's almost repeated, this one. Okay, now the ethical challenges in the media. So we are saying the broadcasting should be in a proper way, the broadcast people should maintain the ethics likewise. But what are their challenges? In order to maintain that, what are the ethical challenges in the broadcasting? So fact checking in the news reporting. Before releasing the news, before telecasting the news, first of all they have to check thoroughly that news, what are the facts of that news. So fact checking in the news reporting, verification process, multiple sources, and transparency and correction. So these are the various steps in the fact checking in the news reporting. Next. Maintaining the transparency in the news coverage. Source disclosure, avoiding the conflicts of interest, corrections and clarification. Maintaining the transparency. Okay. Corrections and clarifications. If inaccuracies or omissions arise, news outlets should promptly issue corrections and clarifications. This demonstrates the accountability and a commitment to the accuracy. That means, what does it mean? Suppose by mistake, if they telecast the wrong news, immediately they have to check, immediately they have to verify and retelecast what is the correct news. That is the accountability, that they should feel the responsibility. Ethical considerations in the storytelling. For example, if one program is telecasting, so that is the empathy is the major step. Empathy means one should feel the other emotions, one should feel. The journalist should approach the stories with empathy for the subjects involved. This includes listening attentively, respecting perspectives, and avoiding the exploitation. Avoiding the exploitation means, so if the content is good, if the news is good, then only they have to take into the consideration. Otherwise, for the just channel ratings or publicity, they should not consider. Next. Balancing the fairness and impartiality. Multiple perspectives. News coverage should include diverse viewpoints, perspectives on complex issues, fact-based fact-based reporting. Reporters should rely on verifiable facts and evidence to support their claims rather than relying okay, so next structure. Okay, see here, importance of minimizing the harm. Importance of minimizing the harm, that is avoiding the sensationalism. Avoiding the sensationalism means sometimes we may observe only for a small news, the news reporters are continuously, they are used to telecasting. They are used to continuously telecasting. That is, they are creating the sensationalism. But with that, there is no help to the public. There is no use to the public. Okay. Understanding the sensitive topics. Okay. Respecting the privacy and confidentiality. Data security. Store the data securely, limiting access to the authorized person and following the appropriate data protection measures. So this is very, very important. Suppose sometimes we hear that the 10th class question papers are leaked. Okay. So there is no data security. Mitigating the unintended consequences. Mitigating means avoiding or reducing. So mitigating the unintended consequences. So suppose if the misinformation is going on, if misinformation is telecasting, what are the consequences and how it should be avoided? Predicting the potential impacts. What are the impact of that already we should predict. Anticipating the addressing concerns, seeking the feedback. By taking the immediate feedback, we can avoid the consequences in a large extent. Next slide. Promoting the diversity and inclusion in the media, that is representation, inclusion of voices, challenging the stereotypes. So now, unethical conduct in the broadcasting. In what way the unethical conduct or unethical behavior in the broadcasting and what is impact on the society? Generally, why? Because of this TRP rating or channel ratings and creating the sensationalism, they want to grab the attention of the public. They want to grab the attention of the public. Sensationalism tries on capturing the attention, often sacrificing the accuracy for shock value. There is no accuracy in that news, but because of that sensationalism, they use it to grab the attention of the public. Profit driven. It is an unethical concept. Profit driven. For example, some political party, for example, just they want to telecast the news on their favor. Okay, so it is for that the channels will take the some amount, that is the profit driven. It is an unethical concept. News outlets sometimes prioritize the sensational stories to boost the viewership and advertising the revenue. Erosion of the trust. One time and two times the public may believe the broadcast journalism or this broadcasting, but once it becomes unethical, the trust may lose. They will lose the trust. That is the erosion of the trust. Okay, next. Okay, this is the blurred line between the news and entertainment. News and entertainment. Generally, the broadcasting main purpose is to empower the citizens with the help of the proper news. But at the same time, it can provide the entertainment also. But nowadays, more priority is giving to the entertainment. So that is a line between, a blurred line between the news and entertainment. Rebuilding the public trust in media. Suppose if the trust is losing, then how can we rebuild it? How can we rebuild it? That is, there are majorly 3 steps. Acknowledge the past mistakes, and take the steps to avoid the repeating them. Okay? Acknowledge the past mistakes. Similarly, promote the ethical practices and hold journalists accountable. Invest the journalism education and training. So they need to provide the proper awareness programs, proper training programs to the journalist. It's so these are the some of the unethical, illegal behaviors. Stealing the copyrights, misuse of research material. Already I told you in the defense organizations. Stealing the credit information, deliberately giving the public wrong information. See this figure, he is the news reader, he has to give the correct information only, but he is under the control of some other person, just like a puppet show. Okay, so this is an unethical concept. With that the trust previous. So with this the trust will be lost. Next slide. So case studies of unethical broadcasting violations. India Today group was accused of publishing the biased and sensationalized news articles, contributing to the spread of the misinformation. Similarly, Times Now case, G News case, these are the some of the unethical broadcast violations. Next. Now, these are what are the relevant acts and regulations related to this unethical practice. So the Indian Telegraph Act 1885, this act governs the telecommunications including the broadcasting. Next act is Cable Television Networks Act 1995, the Information Technology Act 2000, it was instituted in the 2000, and similarly the Press Council of India. So these are the various acts and regulations which monitors the activities of the broadcasting, and they will take the necessary actions for unethical practice. And what are the punishments? Punishments, fines and penalties. So fines, license suspension. Sometimes if very severe consequences occur, then definitely the license will be suspended. Imprisonment also. This is financial penalties, legal battles. See, impact on the broadcasting industry under unethical practice. The last point is audience dissatisfaction. Audience dissatisfaction, that is, audience may turn away from the unethical channels. They don't want to watch those kind of unethical channels. Next one, enforcement mechanisms and regulatory bodies. The Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, they are responsible for formulating the policies, issuing the proper guidelines in the broadcasting sector, ensuring with proper regulations. Similarly, the TRAI, the Telecom Regulatory Authority. So this TRAI also including the broadcasting, and they addresses concerns related to the content, spectrum allocation and technical standards. So next slide. Okay, see, media literacy programs. First of all, the public should be educated properly. Educating the public. Similarly, some skill development programs to identify the bias. What is good, what is the wrong news. So to identify that, some skills are to be developed. Similarly, community initiatives. So this is the final conclusion. So we have discussed ethics, broadcasting, and what are the ethics in the broadcasting. Suppose if the ethics are not following, what are the unethical practices, and what is the society impact on the society, what are the consequences, what are the acts, rules and regulations, punishments. Okay, because the broadcasting plays a vital role on the society. So that's why more ethics to be followed. Thank you.